What's going on, guys? Gaston right here with less hair than usual, but into this video we're gonna be talking about the Leica M11P. And as a matter of fact, I've been searching for some videos and I couldn't find much on YouTube, so I decided to make this video about the Leica M11P. And of course, I also own the Leica M11, so I'm gonna be comparing both cameras. And a couple of people asked me on social media, what is the difference? Should I get it? Because I've been posting images of both cameras. So in this video, we're gonna be addressing those questions, telling you my experience with this camera, and whether you should choose the Leica M11 or M11P. Let's go. Welcome back, guys. Gaston right here, and today we're gonna be talking about the Leica M11P, like I mentioned before. Now, I'm not gonna be making a full review of the specs of this camera. A lot of people have done that, and I actually posted a video that you can check right over here. But instead, I'm gonna be focusing on the things that are different from the Leica M11. And let's actually start with the first one. The first one is gonna be the cosmetic aspect of this camera. As you see, this camera is actually lacking from the red logo. Now, a lot of people love that. And as a matter of fact, this camera looks almost like a Leica M11 monochrome with the calligraphy engraving logo at the top. The main thing is gonna be that red dot right there, stem finish, which, by the way, this finish doesn't leave any fingerprints. I love that, just like the regular Leica M11. Now, the next thing that is gonna be also different in this camera is going to be the sapphire screen protector that we have. And this one is gonna be different than the one on the Leica M11. However, the Leica M11 monochrome also has that sapphire glass, and it is going to be much stronger than conventional glass. I actually broke glass of the rear screen in one of my Sony cameras before. For that reason, I always put a screen protector. Even on this camera with the sapphire glass, I still rock one of the screen protector for extra durability. Now, the next thing that is also going to be different between the Leica M11 and the Leica M11P is gonna be the internal memory. And once again, this camera has the same 256 gigabyte internal memory that we can find in the Leica M11 monochrome. Now, as you guys seen, pretty much Leica has taken a Leica M11 monochrome and just put a color sensor in here if you want to understand, what the difference are in terms of features. Now, the one thing that is actually different, and Leica has been the very first camera to implement, is the content credential feature. And basically what that feature does, it allows you to add a digital signature embedded into the metadata of every photo that you take. Now, this information is supposed to be encrypted, so nobody can actually hack it. We're gonna have to wait and see if that is actually true. But basically, it's gonna help you mitigate copyright theft. And again, it's not gonna refrain someone from not stealing your image, because someone can actually take a screenshot from your images or download it. But it's going to be kind of like a backup ammunition that you may have if, CNN or Sports Illustrated or National Geographic decide to steal your images. You'll be able to take them to court. And I'm sure that by showing that metadata in that image, you can claim the sole owner of that photography. Now, we would actually have to wait and see how this is gonna play out. To do so, it's really easy. There's gonna be an option in the menu where you have two fields. You enter the information that you want. As you can see right here, I enter Gaston Shutter. That's gonna be my digital signature. That is going to be embedded in every single image I take with this camera. And that's it, super simple. Now, the information is gonna be displayed on websites or social medias that are gonna have that feature where they can read that metadata, and you're gonna be able to display that ownership there. It's not intended to block people from stealing, but it's an ammunition, if you ever need to take someone to court. Anyway, now the next thing that I want to mention is that this camera performs really good, just like the Leica M11 does. And I got some comments in social media, people asking me if there's anything different. To be honest with you guys, when it comes to performance, there's not gonna be anything different. The image quality is exactly the same thing. But the one thing that I did notice is the shutter sound on the Leica M11P. Once again, this adds no value to the image quality, but I just want to let you hear the shutter of the Leica M11P versus the one on the Leica M11. Check it out. The shutter sound on this one is a little bit snappier, and now listen to the shutter sound on the Leica M11. M11P. M11. As you can see, the one on the Leica M11 is muted, right? And the Leica M11P is snappier. Now in this part of the video, I want to address that question for those that are in the market for Leica M11. Should I get the M11 or the M11P? And in my opinion, there are going to be two answers that I can give you. If you are on the market for a brand new one, I think the Leica M11P is going to be a no-brainer. Number one, you are going to have that 256 gigabytes, of internal storage. That, by the way, saved me the other day. I was shooting on the beach, took a bunch of pictures, and when I actually went to retrieve my car, I realized that my car wasn't there, and I looked in the computer, and it was plugged in my computer. That did not stop me from taking pictures, nor I was even aware that I did not put my SD card in here, which is actually great because it happened to me that one day I forgot my SD card, actually twice, and I was at a location looking for Target or a Best Buy where I can actually go and buy an SD card, and I spent a lot of time doing so. So having that feature, built-in memory is actually, my opinion, great, and the fact that we had 256 is actually brilliant. I hope that more brands actually jump on that initiative, and I think it's a way to mitigate when, the camera is so small that you can only put one SD card. So yes, the Leica M11P is gonna be more value for the money if you're gonna be buying a brand new one, but I think that if you wanna buy a used one, I would recommend that you actually go for a Leica M11 used. Number one, you're gonna have 64 gigabytes, still have, internal memory in that camera. And a lot of people are starting to offload that camera. I saw a couple of them, at a pretty good deal. And the Leica shooters, they tend to take care of their camera. So getting a used camera versus a brand new one, in most cases, you're not gonna see a difference, but I always, I tell you guys to be mindful and ask a lot of questions before you make a used purchase. So for that reason alone, I would recommend that you buy from, places like Adorama, BH Photo, or some of those retailers that sell used gear with warranty. That's what I would recommend in my opinion. Now, the one thing that I do recommend is that you actually go and download the new firmware, whether you have the M11, M11P, or even the M11 monochrome. Now, version 2.0.1 brings a lot of stability issues fixes, and the one that I actually really like is the fact that now when we remove a lens, let me turn the camera on. And now I'm gonna remove the lens. Look how fast the shutter closes. Boom, shutter is actually closed right there. So, you don't get dust in the sensor. And Leica cameras are known for collecting a lot of dust in the sensor really quick, more than my Sony's. I don't know what the reason is. And I noticed this specifically because I tend to shoot with this camera at f11. So the narrower your aperture is, the more you're gonna notice those dots in the sensor. So I recommend that you go download that firmware update and add that feature to any of your M11 cameras. Now, the one thing that I have to mention is that some people have been saying in my prior video that I did about the firmware that they are experiencing some freezes, specifically when the camera writes from the buffer to the SD card, it freezes. And yes, I experienced that once, but that's an issue that I had before with a prior version. I believe it was the 1.7 point something. So it is nothing new to this particular firmware. I had a problem before, but it only happened once or twice, and it resolves really easily by removing the battery and popping it back in. So guys, this is gonna be this video for today. I hope you had enjoyed it. Should you have any questions regarding the Leica M11P, drop it in the comments down below. And I cannot believe that I made this video in one take. So until then, I'll see you in the next video.